Hi everybody, this is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Tuesday, January 7th, 2024. This is an update for the All Hazards Consortium, Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, the SISE, where we share information across platforms with state emergency operations, private sector liaisons, and also private sector operators from the communications, transportation, medical supply, logistics, and energy sectors. Well, we have a rapidly developing wildfire out west in California. The Palisades Wildfire kicked up just a couple of hours ago, so I thought I would spend a little bit of time on it. I know that this will be a YouTube video, so it won't have real-time implications, but just want to show you that we are monitoring these events going on around the country. And you can see from the Goes West satellite, this is from 22,300 miles up. You can see that smoke. It is really pumping out to the west-southwest. Look at that coming off of this fire. It started off as a 20-acre fire. Now it's a 200-acre fire. And we're getting reports that people are in zero visibility on some of the highways. It's impacting Sepulveda Boulevard, and radio traffic is now showing that it's impacting Sunset Blvd near Palisades Drive, and the road is impassable. There were reports of people abandoning their cars on some of the roadways there, which was preventing fire responders, first responders, fire trucks from responding to this fire. There are helicopters on site too, but the winds are blowing very, very rapidly. This is the source of the smoke. It is the Palisades Fire. And I want to show you here, I'm going to widen out a little bit and just show you some of these wind observations. Here's where the fire is, right in here. Look at these wind gusts. 57 miles per hour, 38 miles per hour. There's other wind gusts, 51 miles per hour here. There has been a red flag warning and a particularly dangerous situation that was issued early this morning by the National Weather Service for these strong gusty winds, and it's very dry in California. So any wildfire, any fire that develops is going to spread rapidly. So these are the wind gusts going on right now in this area where they're trying to fight the wildfire. As a matter of fact, I want to show you what it looks like from the standpoint of the cameras. This is what it looked like just moments ago with these loop time lapse from this Alert California camera network. And I'm going to change the perspective here to show you from Topanga Canyon. There's a camera located at Topanga Canyon. And what does that look like? Here it's going to change in just a moment and go through that loop of the time lapse. The smoke is so thick going across the highways, you cannot see any of the cars in front of you. So people are stopping and getting out. The air quality is very bad. Here's the look from the Topanga Canyon looking out towards the ocean. You can see that, and the winds, the clouds are moving in that direction. The winds are blowing very, very rapidly towards the west, and very gusty. 40, 50, and even some 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And so these cameras are very helpful that help the state of California and emergency operations centers, and also the Forest Service monitor what kind of wildfires are going on. And I'm going to switch over here and show you what it looks like just from the standpoint of the latest image here. And this is what it looks like. This is now almost, this is updated every couple of minutes here. I'll put this into motion over the last 1 hour, and you can see what it looks like right now. Look at how fast those winds are blowing. You can see that the smoke is reaching right down to the ground, causing very difficult visibilities and also breathing conditions. Folks, this is going to be a very impactful, it already is, a very impactful wildfire, and we're going to be monitoring it. Matter of fact, I'll widen out here just a little bit and show you what it looks like from the GOES satellite image. You can see the clouds here off in the Pacific, but there is the wildfire and that smoke coming out from that wildfire. And again, Winds are so strong, it's keeping the smoke very close to the ground. That's what's happening there in California right now. Some of the latest information, there has been evacuation orders that have been expanded to the east to Mandeville Canyon Road. And there's also evacuation warning has been issued throughout that area for zones, let's see, evacuation zones include east of Las Flores Canyon Road. East of Las Flores Canyon Road, that's what's happening right now. So this is a very rapidly developing wildfire with very dry conditions, and we're monitoring it from the standpoint of the GOES satellite imagery. There it is one more time, very close there. Satellite's 22,300 miles up, and this imagery is every 1 minute. Well, let me switch gears a little bit and move from the West Coast over to the East Coast and show you what's going on. We have a lot happening with regard to the previous snowstorm that impacted the East Coast yesterday. Matter of fact, you can see before the sunset line comes down, that's the terminator line, you can see the snow on the ground. Look at that. You can see it is stretching all the way back, even across Missouri, Kansas City, and into Kansas. Lots of snow on the ground. That's going to keep temperatures very cold tonight as they dip down into the teens in most cases and out into in the mountain valleys of western Maryland, eastern Virginia, West Virginia. Temperatures down in the single digits in some cases. But I was taking a look at NASA satellite imagery earlier, and I do want to show you the snow on the ground. Take a look at this. This is cloud cover off the coast of Maryland, but look at this. This is all snow cover on the ground. Look at Delaware, all the way from Bethany Beach and Fenwick Island, Delaware, all the way up the entire state of Delaware, covered in snowfall. Dover Air Force Base and everywhere there, Maryland's eastern shore, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow in parts of Maryland's eastern shore and the state of Delaware. And look at that, southern New Jersey. Forecasts were very, very good, both from the models, the European model and the GFS model. Very, very close with their predictions. Now look at this. The winds are very strong as well, coming across the mountains here, causing these wave clouds. That's been happening all day during the day today. But if we go past this line of clouds, you can still see snow on the ground in Ohio through those the breaks in the clouds. Snow on the ground in West Virginia there. We head on to the west towards Indiana, Illinois, and look at Missouri. Look at this. Here's Kansas City. Here's St. Louis. You can dive right in here. All these major roadways impacted. Done a great job clearing the roads there in the Midwest. They're still working on it here in the East Coast. Most of the main roads are clear, but the side roads are very, very icy. And look, there's the rain snow line right there. This is where they had snow dipping down here, even into northern North Carolina. We had snow on the ground today, and certainly out in the mountains of North Carolina. There was some snow as well. Well, let me dive into what's happening as far as the forecast model is concerned. And I'm going to look here. I'm just going to talk about the GFS model. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of model comparisons. Just want to alert the All Hazards Consortium, the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment stakeholders, about another winter storm that is going to develop in the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to have lots of moisture with it. And there's also a lot of cold air associated with this system as well, already in place. You can see this high pressure system. We talked about it yesterday. High pressure nosing down into Texas and Louisiana, down into Florida. Boy, it's cold down there in Florida right now. Let me put this into motion and show you what we're going to be concerned about. Look at the moisture just starting to gather itself together around Brownsville, Texas. So here it is. Down here in Brownsville, this is first indications of moisture starting to flow in off the Gulf of Mexico as low pressure sort of develops here in the south. And we'll watch that come together. There it is over a period of time. And now we have actually a center of low pressure over northern Mexico kicking up already moisture and snow beginning to break out across northern Texas. There are already advisories, watches, warnings, advisories happening in Texas, and I'll dive into that on GeoCollaborate. High pressure is really keeping the cold air in place. And so we're also developing what looks to be another ice storm, another ice threat. This time for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, stretching on into Arkansas. And as we make the model progress here, you'll see that area of pink developing. Now, this model run is from the 12Z run. That's a 7 a.m. run this morning. There's another one happening right now. I'm not going to do updates for every model. That's not what this update is for. This update is for general information on what may happen with these storms so everybody can be prepared. And we're looking at changing forecasts from the models every model runs. So this is not a definitive forecast, but one that we're looking out for potential heavy snow in parts of Arkansas, snow breaking out in northern Mississippi and northern Alabama as well with this low pressure. It's very intense, and it looks like it's going to have some impact on the East Coast as well. You can see by Friday afternoon, we have a large swath of snow. There's a little clipper up here north of the Great Lakes. Moisture is connecting here with snow, and it gets heavier through Arkansas, through Tennessee, and then there's also this area of ice. We'll be watching that. Atlanta right now looks like you're going to have a chance of snow and then perhaps some freezing rain and sleet, and then some rain after that. We'll be watching that also very closely. We know that ice is the biggest impact to critical infrastructure for the energy sector. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware of where that ice is going to fall. Freezing rain in particular that freezes on contact. It's rain that falls into freezing temperatures or on freezing objects and freezes right away. So we see this low pressure system progressing over towards the East Coast, over Georgia. This is where we have ice chance in Atlanta to the north and east, across western South Carolina, and also into North Carolina as well as this low tracks. Now, the direction that this low takes makes a big difference as to where that freezing rain falls. We have a couple of days, or at least another day, to refine the forecast to see where that impact area is going to be. I'm going to show you the Winter Storm Severity Index on GeoCollaborate, and that will identify areas that the National Weather Service sees as the biggest impacts for this developing system. And we'll continue the movement of this over towards Saturday morning. This is 7 o'clock Saturday morning, and look at this. We have moderate to heavy snow falling just south of Washington, D.C., and into Maryland's eastern shore again, with snow falling over the entire state of Maryland, much of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Tennessee, eastern Tennessee, and eastern Kentucky, and even the mountains, once again, of North Carolina. This could be quite an accumulation depending on the path that this low pressure system takes. And then we'll continue it on into 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, where the low is intensifying. Seems to be on this run taking a path more out to sea a little bit further instead of up the coast like yesterday. And we may even end as some rain or mixed rain and snow in the Maryland area during the afternoon Saturday. And then the low kicks out, cold air comes back in, and that cold air will funnel in across the entire East Coast here again. High pressure is bringing in and reinforcing that cold air along the southeast portion of the coastline. In Maine and New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, looks like you have a chance of snow. Right now, it doesn't look like a big impact. But again, these model runs could change, and we watch them very closely. So by Sunday morning early, the storm is intense, but out to sea and clipping Cape Cod and eastern Massachusetts with some snow and wind. But then it's out of here. It is going to become very windy, though, across the Northeast as high pressure takes over once again during the day on Sunday. And then it looks to be pretty clear in the Southeast with another disturbance coming through, providing mountain snows and lake effect snows into western Pennsylvania. There seems to be another storm system that wants to gather together in the Gulf, but nothing really comes of it. This is out in Fantasyland now, 186 hours out into the future. Now, I want to take you over to GeoCollaborate because I want to show you, I had it set up here for the wildfire, the Palisades Wildfire, just to show you where that is. And here it is right here. I'm going to click on it. You can see it here, the Palisades Fire. This is where it's located on the map. All these colors mean, look at all these advisories from the National Weather Service. A red flag warning, meaning conditions are dangerous for wildfires. If they develop, they could spread rapidly. That's indeed what we have right now. The other advisory, a fire weather watch. That means a fire weather is in existence. There's not a fire weather warning issued from the National Weather Service as of right now, or they don't even have one, I don't think, in their arsenal. But when fires do develop, they can spread very, very rapidly because of those gusty winds. Air quality alert. Air quality alert from any wildfires that develop is going to cause breathing to be very difficult. And we see that happening right now with the wildfires that are going on. And you can see that again in the satellite picture right here. All of this smoke is staying very, very close to the ground, and that's what's happening. Matter of fact, I'll just show you one more time the latest picture from the wildfire, the Palisades Wildfire here. You can see the smoke, the strong winds here at 50 to 60 miles per hour up here, 30 to 40 miles per hour down here at the surface, but it's driving that smoke right down along the ground, and you hit a wall of smoke when you're driving. Zero visibility, very tough to breathe. People are evacuating their cars to run out of the way of the path of this wildfire. We have a very dangerous and life-threatening situation going on within the Palisades area, headed down towards the coastline. Sepulveda Boulevard in that area is highly impacted as well. And we also have following road closures that have just come in. So let me just read this to you. Southbound PCH at Las Flores Canyon Road is closed. And southbound PCH at Topanga Canyon Boulevard is closed. And Coastline Drive and southbound PCH. Traffic in these areas will be diverted northbound on the PCH. And it looks like Sunset Boulevard is completely impassable due to more than 100 abandoned vehicles. Sunset Boulevard is completely impassable due to more than 100 abandoned vehicles. This is going to be a serious, life-threatening fire for the next several hours. Okay, now back to GeoCollaborate. I'm going to back out here, that last advisory around the fire area, high wind warning, and we're seeing that with the high winds going on as well. Okay, I've moved over in GeoCollaborate here to Texas so we can monitor some of the watches, warnings, and advisories, and also the Winter Storm Severity Index. I've got a number of data sets turned on here in GeoCollaborate. I'll turn them off. These are wildfires that are being spotted by satellites, just hotspots. Doesn't mean that they're all out of control wildfires. So I'll turn those wildfires off. And now you can see what's going on. Watches, warnings, and advisories. What are these blue areas here in Texas? Cold weather advisories from the cold air that's in place already. And we have winter storm watches that have been issued around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This winter storm watch is for a combination of snow and freezing precipitation, like freezing rain and sleet, as this low pressure develops down to the south and impacts Texas. And these watches and advisories are extending now into western Tennessee. Look at this, northern Mississippi, and even northern Louisiana. So let me turn off the Winter Storm Severity Index at the moment, just so we can focus on the watches and that have been issued. So here's the next winter storm that's going to be coming out of Texas. Winter storm watches in effect for northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, most of Arkansas here, not the extreme northwest portion of Arkansas, western Tennessee, and northern Mississippi, and northern Louisiana. Remember, we have a lot of cold air in place already. The advisories down here along the Gulf Coast, these are all cold weather advisories. See this? Freeze warning in effect for tonight for New Orleans and southeast Louisiana. These blue areas are cold weather advisories. And then we have small craft advisories off the coast of Texas for this developing system here. But these watches will extend to the east as this storm system develops and starts moving. But I want to turn on the Winter Storm Severity Index. So I'm going to turn off the watches and advisories here. And now I'm going to turn on the Winter Storm Severity Index. Okay, so what does this mean? This means over the next, and I'll back out here just a little bit, over the next 3 days, these areas will be impacted by winter weather. So all the way down to the Mexican border around El Paso, and then into Dallas, Fort Worth, right where you see those winter storm watches being issued by the National Weather Service. I'll zoom in here because we do also have a legend. Let me put that on for you here so you can see what these colors mean. This area in red means that there will be major impacts, forecast major impacts to transportation and critical infrastructure, such as cellular towers, such as power lines. So in these areas, it's possible there could be power outages in the Texas area over the next 1 to 3 days. The orange area means moderate impacts. Driving is not recommended. It's going to be hazardous driving conditions as this weather system moves to the northeast, and its impacts do as well. And then even down here, there's a little area that's showing up right now southeast of Dallas. This area looks to be extreme impacts are likely from moderate to heavy freezing rain. That could be a very serious impact, and I'll dive in here just a little bit more just to see where that is. Just southwest of Tyler, Texas, looks like we may have some extreme weather impacts from this system. And that says right here, you can see it, an extreme possibility. So if we have a buildup of ice any more than 1/10 of an inch, it can really add tremendous amount of weight to power lines and trees and bring them down. So this is a developing serious situation in Texas. The Weather Service is issuing the watches as they should, because that's a 48-hour notice that the storm is on the way. The Winter Storm Severity Index goes out 1 to 3 days. So there's no real impacts in the Mid-Atlantic or North Carolina or South Carolina quite yet. That is because it's too far away. In Western Maryland here, you can see here in Western Maryland, there are minor impacts due to snow that the mountains are squeezing out there. They're used to driving out there, so just minor impacts. So that is what it looks like right now as far as these impacts go. I'm going to leave this briefing with the Palisades camera and what it looks like. You can see this time lapse in effect, and look how fast that fire developed and how much of the ground it's obscuring. Now, we did just get this video in from Orange County Copter 76 reporting on the fire just 30 minutes ago. It gives us a better perspective from the ground-based cameras, because this one's from a helicopter. Let's take a listen.
Record. Orange County Copter 76, January 7th, 2025, 14:10 hours on the Palisades Fire, starting at the left shoulder division Alpha, impacting down towards Highway 1, Palisades. Coming up the left flank, active flame, unchecked. Multiple copters working the right flank, retardant ops on the top heel of the left flank. Got a lot of unchecked fire on the left flank. Orange County Copter 76, January 7th, 2025, 1400 hours on the Palisades Fire, starting at the right shoulder, impacting down towards Highway 1, Palisades community. Multiple copters doing structure protection by the Getty Villa, working down in that area, coming back up the right flank towards the heel now. Multiple structures impacted. Got retardant operations going on at the heel of the fire. Multiple air tankers, Bravo ship, air attack on scene. Got a lot open. Orange County Copter 76, January 7, 2025, 1400 hours, take 2 at the heel of the Palisades Fire. Down the right flank, panning down now. Got multiple copters working, so air tanker, we got retardant around the heel now of the fire. Multiple structures impacted. The right flank goes all the way down to Highway 1 on both sides, left flank as well.
Visibility 0, very unhealthy air conditions there. It's very tough to breathe. More than 100 cars have been abandoned, and the fire has been spreading rapidly. I'm going to just mention this one more time. Sunset Boulevard is completely impassable due to more than 100 vehicles being abandoned because the fire is moving so quickly. So this is bound to be top of the news on the newscasts, national newscasts that will begin shortly around the country. So I'm going to leave it here. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. We'll be monitoring the Palisades Fire. We'll also be monitoring the developing winter storm that's going to impact Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and places to the east and northeast of that. Thanks so much for watching this update. I appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. Then you'll get updates when we provide these updates, usually once a day, unless it gets really serious. Then we do maybe more than one a day. Please, we have a lot of extreme events going on around the country. Please be safe. Watch out for yourself. And please watch out for your neighbor. They really do appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.